Meanwhile, as it stands at this very moment, the World Bank, including the Nigerian government, described the budget 2025 key assumptions of 2.1 million barrels per day oil production and $73 per barrel price as ambitious, given the current production level of 1.6 million barrels per day and $60 price on the international market. Well, the federal government disagreed, saying that the assumptions were based on the potentials of the economy. The World Bank, in its key May 2025 Nigeria Development Update presented yesterday in Abuja, noted that though most of all economic indicators remain positive, inflation remains high. It pointed out that for Nigeria to achieve its target of a $1 trillion economy by 2030, the growth rate needs to be 5 times faster than its current rate of 3.8%. Despite these challenges and the rising cost of living in the country, the bank urged the federal government to stay on the course in the implementation of its economic reforms. Presenting the report at a gathering that included the Ministers of Finance, Wale Edun, Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, as well as the Governor of Plateau State, Caleb Muftwang, and private sector leaders. The lead economist at World Bank Country Office, Dr. Alex Sienet, commended the government for removing subsidies on petrol and liberalizing the foreign exchange market. The World Bank reported that Nigeria's fiscal outlook remains cautiously optimistic, but hinges on the necessary consolidations of recent advances. Moving on to the Independent National Executive Commission, the chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakub, has dismissed the speculations about his immediate sack. Professor Yakubu said speculations about his sack were unfounded and unnecessary. He stated this while speaking with correspondents on Monday after the inauguration of 2 INEC commissioners by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the Council Chamber State House in Abuja. According to him, he said, and I read, "I don't think we need to waste time so much about these unnecessary speculations. As far as the law is concerned, and as far as am I aware, I remain the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and under the Constitution, the Chief Electoral Commission of the Federation, and under the Electoral Act, the returning officer for the presidential election." Speaking on the electoral reform, the INEC chairman said the Electoral Act would be amended before the 2027 elections. He disclosed that the commission had already submitted 147 recommendations to the National Assembly. He said the commission has been interfacing with the National Assembly and that 2 weeks ago it had a retreat in Lagos with a joint committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on electoral reform. He also commended President Tinubu for swearing in the national commissioners. He added that it would enhance the commission's performance. He also said so far so good, discussions are up concerning the 142 recommendations. Out of the 142 recommendations, 8 require constitutional or electoral act amendment and are discussed with members of the National Assembly. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has approved the implementation of a group life assurance scheme for government workers, paramilitary personnel, and other uniformed services. This move, according to the head of service of the Federation, Didi Wilson Jack, underscores the administration's commitment to the welfare of federal employees. While briefing State House correspondents on Monday after the 6th Federal Executive Council meeting of the year, Wilson Jack explained that the insurance scheme aims to provide a life policy for every public servant. In the unfortunate event of a worker's death, and the next of kin would receive benefits to help cushion the financial impact in the family. Well, the scheme underscores the importance that President Tinubu's administration has placed on the welfare of federal workers. The scheme will also extend to other senior government officials such as ministers, permanent secretaries, staff of federal government ministries, and treasury-funded agencies. Additionally, personnel in paramilitary agencies such as the Nigerian Immigration Service, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nigeria Correctional Service, Federal Fire Service, Road Safety Corps, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and the Office of the National Security Advisor will benefit from the coverage. Wilson Jack further revealed that the group life assurance scheme would be an annual policy, with the 2025-2026 policy year being the first to be implemented. Moving on to the political scenario, a former chairman of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission and director of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thoughts, Sam Amadi, has condemned the attacks on the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. He argued that the growing pattern of attack by senior government officials on the former governor was unwarranted. Speaking via his X account, Amadi asserted that it has now become a trend for present administration to frequently target Obi despite his consistent focus on Nigeria's dire socio-economic realities rather than on personalities. The former NERC chairman cited the recent criticisms from the presidency, the governor of Lagos State, Senate President Godswill Akpabio as examples of his misplaced focus. He noted that while the political elite expend significant energy attacking Peter Obi, the man himself remains resolutely focused on Nigeria's structural challenges and the urgent need for reform. He bemoaned what he called the disproportionate attention paid to Obi by high-ranking government figures, asserting that Peter Obi has steered clear of personal attack and bias and has instead consistently advanced a vision for national renewal rooted in prudence, accountability, and economic revitalization. Meanwhile, the Labour Party factional chairman Julius Abure has threatened to politically bury Alex Otti and Peter Obi based on certain statements made recently, especially with Alex Otti calling for the IGP to arrest Julius Abure for impersonation. Let's take a brief listen to Julius Abure.
Made some people to sleep and not to wake up. There are some people who are shockers to us. The people that we never believed we behave the way they are behaving to us. We lay down our lives for some of them. And I will say it openly. We rejected billions of naira. We rejected offers because of their position. But today, they are in the forefront of those that want to throw us out of office. And I want to challenge them. I was watching television, I heard some of them talk about corruption. Today, I want to challenge all of them, from Peter Obi down, that contested the election. Let any of them come out and tell the world what they gave to me personally or to the party. It's not to go and hide and be saying there is corruption in the party. Who are those that brought the money? Who did they give it to? Where did they send it to? I challenge them today that any of them that has evidence, even if they don't have evidence, let them be bold and come out and say where and how they gave the money. And if they can't do that, let them forever hold their peace. And what I'm saying now, I'm going to call a world press conference and publicly challenge them. You know, as a leader, we have been quiet to say probably they are making mistake. Probably one day they will come back. When people were talking about agents, about money for agents, I kept quiet. I didn't say anything because I believe that both the bad, the good, and the ugly are for me. And therefore, I should not throw away the bad child or throw away the ugly child. I believe that let all of us be together. That was why I kept quiet. But when I saw that some people were crossing their boundaries, I came out and released a periphery of what played out. And I'm sure that by now, that house is no longer together as it is. I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting from them, from top to bottom, to make any other move. And I will open my mouth. And when I open my mouth, wherever they go to, they will be like smelling egg, rotten egg, that nobody will ever buy. I want to conclude on the basis of what Obika said, finally, I accept that we have prodigal sons. But it must follow certain procedure, because even the Bible makes it very clear.
Well, that was Julius Abure speaking there with some of factions of the Labour Party disclosing that if some truth is not gotten with immediately concerning the call by the Abia State Governor Alex Otti for his arrest, he will expose certain secrets, maybe will make them politically redundant. Meanwhile, governors elected under the People's Democratic Party, former governors and members of the party's National Working Committee ended a crucial meeting on Sunday night without reaching a consensus on several internal disputes threatening the party's cohesion ahead of its May 27 National Executive Committee meeting and August National Convention. Top among the unresolved issues are the continued tenure of Ambassador Umar Damagum as acting national chairman, the leadership tussle over the position of national secretary between Senator Samuel Anyanwu and Sunday Ude Okoye, and rising defections from the party. Well, while most PDP governors are pushing for leadership changes before the National Executive Council meeting, particularly the replacement of Anyanwu following his defeat in the 2023 Imo governorship election, FCT Minister Nyesom Wiki is reportedly opposed to the move. Despite the pushback, some governors are considering conceding the Anyanwu matter to preserve party unity. Everyone is hoping that Saraki and his committee can resolve the grey areas. The party's leadership crisis dates back to March 2023. After PDP lost the presidential election, Damagum was appointed acting chairman following a Benue High Court order restraining Dr. Iyocha Ayu, who had been suspended by his ward for alleged anti-party activities. Senator Anyanwu had stepped down as national secretary to contest the Imo governorship, but returned to reclaim his seat after losing to APC's Hope Uzodinma. His return was met with resistance as the Southeast PDP leadership had already nominated Ude Okoye as his replacement. In October 2023, a high court in Enugu ordered the PDP to replace Anyanwu with Ude Okoye, but both factions have interpreted subsequent Supreme Court decisions in their favor, leaving the issue unresolved. Then, following the deadlock, the party constituted a 7-member reconciliation committee chaired by former Senate President Bukola Saraki. The committee is tasked with unifying aggrieved factions ahead of the National Executive Council meeting and convention. In a very recent development, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, on Monday announced a new lockdown across the southeast. IPOB said the lockdown would hold on May 30, 2025 across the southeast. Imal Powerful, the spokesman of IPOB, said the day was set aside to remember and honor Biafra heroes and heroines. In a statement he signed, Powerful urged residents of the southeast to stay indoors during the lockdown. He also disclosed that members and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra informs Biafrans, supporters of Biafra, advocates and freedom fighters. Now, May 30th, 2025 being declared or designated a public holiday. According to them, it's a day designated for IPOB for Biafran to commemorate and pay tribute to the heroes and heroines who had sacrificed their lives in the struggle of Biafra's liberation and independence. Reacting, however, to that sit at home, or rather public holiday on May 30, based on the heroes and heroines who died during the 1967-1970 Civil War, the Poor Biafran group disclosed that all forms of movement by road, air and sea will be banned from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on that day, warning that no human activity will be allowed within what it describes as Biafran territory. In a swift reaction, however, the spokesman for the Anambra State Police Command, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, promised police protection for residents to allow them go about their normal businesses without any fear of humiliation. He says, and I quote, "We are not aware of the lockdown order, but the residents are assured of adequate security and are encouraged to go about their lawful businesses without entertaining any fear." In the statement issued on Monday, Powerful said the group would hold memorial lectures throughout the month in Nigeria and abroad to honor the fallen heroes. You're currently listening to the World News right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We're heading into a news analysis segment where obviously our analysts that will give us their point of view and professional intellectual analysis is Mr. Tochukwu Ezukama, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. To kindly stay with us. All right. Thank you for staying with us. This is still the World News right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Mr. Tochukwu Izukama, thank you so much for joining us on the World News this afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you. So let's start off with the imbroglio within the Labour Party. For example, the factional chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has come out to threaten Peter Obi and Alex Otti that if they make any other move that may possibly seem to intimidate him, incite him, or rile him further, he's going to expose certain secrets, according to him. Once he divulges whatever he needs to divulge, that there will be like rotten eggs that no one will be able to buy them. So the big question is, what is this particular secret? Just 3 days ago, the factional publicity secretary, Arabambi, went on a monitored television program to disclose that the Labour Party, specifically some obedient movement members, were the reasons why the Labour Party lost. That the party agents across 54,000 polling units absconded with their results. And because they absconded, one of the reasons they absconded was because they were not giving 10,000 naira. Arabambi used the opportunity to mock Peter Obi that he actually gives out monies of 50 million, 100 million to other people, to other organizations or persons he thinks it's a philanthropic activity, but refused to pay party agents 10,000 naira, and thereby apologized to the Nigerian judiciary, apologized to INEC for telling them that they were the reasons why they lost the election. So this statement that Julius Abure is making now, why is he making that statement now? What does he mean by saying that he's going to release certain secrets? What secret does he think would actually put a dent on Peter Obi that has not already been done, or make it seem possibly bury his political career?
Well, I think Julius Abure is acting a script, and I think he's doing a good job at it. He's a man, I think, who's out to disorganize the Labour Party. His term of office was over, and the natural, normal, logical next step would have been to step down so there will be new elections. Where he may be re-elected or not re-elected, or depending on what the situation turns out to be. But he's refusing to step down, and has been a source of problem, a source of the disruption to the party. So I think he's acting a script, he's destroying the party. We are used to politicians having dirty secrets. Peter Obi does not have dirty secrets as we know it. He was once a governor. The only governor that was not affected by any EFC probe. EFC had nothing on him. And the people of Anambra said we're very comfortable, very grateful for his leadership as over the 8 years period that he was there. So Abure is being a politician. He's being a disruptive politician. He's causing trouble within the Labour Party. He should step down and let the process, due process, take its course. There's nothing he can reveal on Otti. The people of Abia State already know Otti. He's been the best governor they've ever had. He cannot be doing such an outstanding job and have some dirty, have some secrets.
Okay, Mr. Tochukwu Izukama, we may not know some inner workings within the party during the 2023 elections, so we don't know precisely what Julius Abure is saying. But from the way he sounded like the party, that is, those who possibly won with the party, that is the House of Rep members that won under the Labour Party, Peter Obi that got the kind of support he got under the Labour Party, Alex Otti, he says something that they turned down or they refused to accept millions of naira. They didn't collect any money from Peter Obi, from Alex Otti, for the kind of overwhelming support that they gave to these individuals. So according to him, he feels like he has been betrayed by these persons whom the party gave the ticket, whom did not really pay too much, whereby they sacrificed their time, sacrificed inducement, all for them to get to where they are, and maybe they are not reciprocating that loyalty. With how Julius Abure sounds, he sounds like he's been betrayed. He expected Peter Obi and Alex Otti to be on his side, despite all of these challenges that they went through during the elections, and despite the fact that maybe his tenure may have been over, but possibly he expected Peter Obi and Alex Otti to supposedly have him within their circle, and he feels betrayed and think that a lot of them left the party after using the party to get whatever it is that they wanted to get. So he's saying now that if Alex Otti makes any utterance whatsoever against his person, he will release certain secrets. How damaging are these secrets? What culpability would this secret be for Peter B, for Alex Otti? What kind of damage would it cause that he hadn't said it all this while? For him, he said that they are like prodigal children and that he's waiting for them to come back to their senses. But if they make any move later, he would actually put them on the cross. So the question is, what has the Labour Party turned to? And why is Julius Abure clinging so much to this power? Others are speculating that it's because of nomination forms coming up, the amount of money that they will make from the sale of nomination of interest forms. How would you react to this?
Yes. Well, Nigerian politicians are mostly driven by personal interests. So we will not be surprised if his primary concern at this time is to rake in a lot of money from the nomination forms and other goodies that will be accruing to the chairman of the party in the very near future. That's a possibility. But I think he's being nonsensical in a way. He's talking a lot of nonsense. He was loyal to his party. Therefore, because of his loyalty to his party, the rules of the party needed to be bent. The laws needed to be bent to reward him for his loyalty. Is it not normal to be loyal to your party, work in the good of your party, reject bribe to subvert your party? Because you did what was normal. The rules have to be changed. Obi will support you even when you are going against the grain of the party constitution. That is really wrong. But let him go ahead and reveal whatever he wants to reveal, because the men he's dealing with are not the exceptionally corrupt politicians. Obi is not corrupt. Otti is not corrupt. They are not certificate forgers. They are not drug dealers. They are not murderers. They are not gangsters. But Nigerians are used to certificate forgers, gangsters, murderers, corrupt elements, thieves being in power. So what secret can he release about Peter Obi or Otti that will tarnish them so much that Nigerians will reject them politically? So I think his mission is to destroy the Labour Party, and he has done a very good job at that. But like I've said time and time again, by 2027, the opposition will be so weakened by the APC for two reasons. Tinubu is a man, the president, Ahmed Tinubu, is a man that believes that anybody can be bought. He will buy a lot of people in the opposition to either destroy their party or to cross over to him. He's a man that likes to talk and make friends. So before then, he must have made a lot of friends within the opposition, and these new friends might choose to subvert their parties or cross over to APC. So I am not surprised. That's what you expect when you have a president like Tinubu. The problem with our president is that he did not rise above campaigning. He did not rise above electioneering. While he's in office as the president, he's still entrapped. His mind, his heart, everything about him is still engrossed in campaigning for 2027. So that's why he's disorganizing other parties, strengthening his party in preparation for 2027. But Abure is breaking the law. The law should be enforced, and it should be removed from where he is.
All right, let's look at it this way, Mr. Tuchuko Izukama. Let's assume
Yes.
there's no certainty that the president is making any form of financial inducement on any of those political parties to cripple them. For example, even in the PDP, they had a national executive council meeting, or a meeting to reconcile warring factions, persons who have some grievances, so that they would stop any form of defection anymore. A lot of persons have defected, but they failed to reach a resolution. They failed to reach a resolution at that committee. They had to set up a reconciliatory committee headed by former Senate President Bukola Saraki. If at that particular situation where they converged, the PDP couldn't get to any form of reconciliation, how then do you blame the president for whatever is going on with the opposition? That's one. Two, if you say that the president is the one responsible for what is going on, well, wouldn't you say that the opposition are not wise as well to put implants in the current political party and possibly divulge their secret? Will you tell me that the current All Progressives Congress does not have its own challenges, does not have their own internal situation? There is currently a supposed protest to go on concerning the recent concluded Lagos State primaries. All right, in Lagos, some of the aspirants are not happy. They feel that candidates were imposed and they have been online for so long, meaning it's supposed to be their turn, but candidates were imposed. So it's not like this is not a problem for the current All Progressives Congress. So why can't the opposition put in implants that could possibly cripple the current party?
Yeah, well, the attempt at resolution within PDP failed, but the question is how many people are making the attempt are agents of another political party. After the election, we realized that some of the people that ostensibly worked for the Labour Party were actually agents of APC. So when you infiltrate parties, either by whichever way you do it, and then you get them to go and resolve the problem of their own parties, there will be no resolution. You just fail in resolving the problem. And I think that is what is playing out. We've seen in Lagos State, there has been one man rule, Baba Esobe. Baba has said it, and it has to be that way. So APC has its own problems, but it's a problem of APC because they have one Baba who determines everything, who micromanages everything. Some people tend to oppose that one Baba rule, but for the most part, those who are loyal to the Baba tend to be more powerful, and things tend to finally work out in their own way. But the opposition has a lot of work to do. This country is slowly but inexorably degenerating into a one-party state, which is very dangerous for Nigerian democracy. But it's happening that way for a number of reasons. One is that our politicians have no political ideology, no political philosophy. Second, people tend to gravitate to the party in power at the center because that's where the goodies are. The party at the center has the largest, biggest coffers. So that's where you can share more. Thirdly, Nigerians are susceptible to bribe, to inducement. They can be bought. Most Nigerians have a price. So that's what we are seeing. But the opposition party better be very careful, better work assiduously to make sure that the opposition is not totally destroyed and then the country becomes a one-party state.
Oh, well, in that particular regard, it now behoves on the opposition to get their house in order. For example, if you use the court to intervene in internal party crisis and then court orders are not obeyed due to certain persons' interests to hang on to certain positions with the party, and there seems to be no committee to resolve issues, or even when issues are meant to be resolved, certain elements refuse to possibly back down, how do you expect the opposition to remain strong? That was what culminated to Pat Utomi setting up a shadow government, although a couple of analysts believe that that shadow government is unrealistic because you cannot set up a shadow government to possibly oppose anything that the current administration does. But let's look at the Southeast, for example. May 30 is a day to celebrate the fallen heroes during the Biafran War, and IPOB, including MASOB, have actually called for a total lockdown on that day. They have said that they are going to hold seminars and summits, from now up till that particular day on how the Southeast can grow, how the Southeast can become economically viable, how the Southeast can become part of the political umbrella whereby, they are able to connect directly to Abuja, like Peter Okowa said. But The police has come out to say that no, they have not gotten any information about that, and that people can go about their activities, that they would ensure their safety. IPOB is saying total lockdown, no movement, no activity on that day to celebrate the fallen heroes. The police are saying people can go about their activities and they swear to protect them. This was the same thing that happened last year, where we saw some unknown gunmen kill 2 military soldiers at a junction in Abure State last year. It almost rendered that state to something else because we saw heavy military presence in that state. Already, the southeast is heavily militarized. So if it happens, if what happened last year replicates this year, anyway, nobody knows precisely, what do you think the take will be?
I believe in celebrating the dead in Nigeria. I believe in remembering those that died in the Civil War, especially on the Biafran side.
Okay.
I do not believe in Biafra. In retrospect, after the reading and research, I don't believe in Ojuku's Biafranism.
You have always said so, but as it stands now, a lot of Southeasterners believe in it.
That's fine. That's an issue of opinion. I'm not knocking them. Okay. I'm only telling you how I feel about it. So the dead should be remembered. The dead should be celebrated. In the Igbo eschatology, we remember the dead. We respect the dead. That is all fine. But I disagree with IPOBs. In Biafra, people suffered so much. A lot of people died believing in what they were doing. We lack the firepower. So the federal forces, with their superior power, slaughtered the Biafran soldiers copiously. So they should be remembered. They should be respected. But I disagree with IOP Mosop approach to it. They are bringing confusion to Igbo land. They are the IPOB, the IPOB Mosop and other new Biafran movements have been, they've brought us a lot of hardship, they brought us a lot of trouble. They've been quite their approach have been retrogressive and disruptive. They are causing us a lot of trouble. The thing is that if you lock down, who are you locking down? You're locking Igbo businesses down. You're stopping people from stepping out, finding something to feed their children with. It is dim-wittedness, bordering on imbecility, to think that by shooting soldiers at the checkpoint in the southeast that you will win, Biafra will come, you will defeat Nigeria and they will let Biafra go. That is nonsensical. That is delusional. You kill 1 soldier, 2 soldiers at the checkpoint. In reprisal, they kill 4 Igbo youths, men 10 Igbo youths, jail 20 Igbo youths. So are you an agent of good or bad in Igbo land? You're destroying Igbo land for some selfish interest. And the people, the purveyors of Biafranism, are not the cream of the crop. Chichi Noah Achebe once said that the problem of the Igbo man is that he does not do anything with his first 11. Biafranism represents our third 11. The charlatans, the vulgar upstarts, the inexhaustible liars that dominate this movement are confusing Igbo youths. They are disorganizing Igbo land. They should stop it. They should put an end to all this nonsense.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Mr. Tukuchi Izukama. Are you saying that you're not in support of the lockdown or, the sit at home on that day to celebrate the fallen heroes? It's just like how we have the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, although it doesn't mean that there is no form of mobility or business activities cannot go. The federal government celebrates the fallen heroes. So are you saying that you would prefer that kind of activity rather than having to supposedly force persons to sit at home and not go about any activity on that day? Is that your own stance?
Yes, every country celebrates their war heroes or their war dead, but they don't force people to stay at home. They don't shoot at those who come out on that day to do their regular businesses. They do not fight the police. The Igbos are Catholics. The Igbos are Christians. On that day, we can go to church and pray for our war dead. Those the animists and those traditional believers can also do it in their own way. But after doing it, we can still go our business. Those that choose to stay home should stay home, but don't force it on people. You lack the legal authority. You lack the moral authority to impose your personal will on the Igbos and then punish them for that. It is wrong to fight soldiers. If you fight soldiers, there will be reprisals. And the Igbo youths, the Igbos pay the price for these reprisals. We know Nigerian soldiers, they are trigger happy, they are brutal, they are vicious. And once you stimulate them, these instincts in them, they brutalize people, they kill people, they maim people. They've done it in the north, they've done it in the south. They will do it in Igbo land. So if we keep provoking them, so the thing is to stop provoking Nigerian soldiers for whatever reason.
Okay, so how do you react, Mr. Tuchukwu Ezukama? For example, I'm sure you heard about the 30 persons who were massacred, I think 3 or 4 days ago in Imo State in the southeast, and we haven't had the state governor say anything. For a state that is heavily militarized, we're surprised that unknown gunmen could come in and massacre people, if according to what you're saying is what you're saying at this particular point in time. So why haven't we...
What about the militarization? Something triggered it. You fight soldiers, you shoot policemen at checkpoint, you shoot soldiers at checkpoint. Why will your state not be militarized? So it's the IPOB, the MOSOP, Biafranism, new Biafranism that is bringing all this into the Igbos. There might be other criminal agents. There might be other people with their own murderous intentions. But IPOB had laid the foundation. Before IPOB, Igbo land was known, they have been known for criminality, armed robbery, pickpocket, but it wasn't known for kidnapping. It wasn't notorious for kidnapping. It wasn't notorious. The unknown gunmen did not operate. It was this element, these individuals, charlatans. Most of them are failures who have nothing else to do with themselves. And I've been in Igbo land, I've brought so much trouble to Igbo land. So let them stop this nonsense. There can be no Biafra. No ethnic group of Nigeria can unilaterally secede from Nigeria until the different ethnic groups of Nigeria decide we're tired of this union, let us go our separate ways, like was done in the Soviet Union, done in Yugoslavia, and possibly a few other countries of the world. Nigeria will remain one. The Igbos represent about 20% of the Nigerian population, and not all the Igbos believe in Biafra. So about 10%, maybe 15%. Can 15% of Nigerians impose his will on 85%? It is not possible. So if these guys are real, if they are not out to serve their selfish interests, let them start a campaign to convince all Nigerians of the need to go our separate ways. But thinking that some Igbos will impose their will on the rest of Nigeria is absolute nonsense. The unity of the United States of America is not negotiable. The unity of China is not negotiable. The unity of India, despite its diversity, is not negotiable. The unity of Brazil is not negotiable. Why would the unity of Nigeria be negotiable? These fools, these charlatans, these liars, these deceivers, they better snap out of this Biafran delusion.
All right, Mr. Tuchukwu Ezukama, thank you so much for giving us your insight and your perception to the issues raised up here on the World News at 12. We sincerely do appreciate your input.
You're welcome.
All right, and now to wrap up the World News at 12, here again are the top stories. You hear that UK unemployment hit highest since 2021. Also, Nigerians in UK protest demand deportation of Military. World Bank, federal government on budget 2025 assumptions disagree. INEC insists he remains INEC chairman. Mahmoud Yakub insists he remains the INEC chairman. Federal Executive Council approves life insurance for Tinubu Shetima, including ministers. Sam Ahmad Islam's government officials for attacks on Peter Obi. Also, Russia commits to supporting Nigeria's armed forces in fight against insecurity. PDP governors, leaders failed to resolve key disputes ahead of National Executive Council meeting. Now, Biafra discloses, or rather IPOP Biafra discloses total lockdown on May 30. Police react, say no lockdown on May 30 promises protection of individuals in the southeast. That's a wrap on the world news at 12. My name is Esther Machuku. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.